the music. This the Trap Sports Report, you know what I'm talking about, where we translating real athletes properly, you know what I'm talking about. Ain't none of the shit that the media trying to do. You know what I'm talking about. The truth is what we trying to pursue, and that's what we got going on. So really quick, I just wanted to share this with y'all, because it's a lot of shade always being thrown, and the real facts not known. And so that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to bring facts. Now, Russell Westbrook has been attacked for years, right? And some of this shit I'm gonna say, it might be warranted only because of the dress. And I must address the dress. I understand that niggas is trendsetters and niggas is fashion moguls. But you must draw the line at the dress. You feel me? And that's my perspective, and that's respectfully to the big homie, alright? Cause we always show respect and pay homage to the big homies, regardless of what route they chose. And anytime you choose to be a millionaire, that shit should be even more respected. So I send my love and my respect to the big homie. Okay, big cuz. And I came here to share give you receipts so you can speak. Now, he's the only player in all top 10 in all of these 4 categories, which are the 4 major categories that matter: points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Now, if you're a big man, then it's blocks. All right, but you're probably nowhere near some of these stats. Now, usually, if you're in the top 10 in 2 of these categories, you're gonna get a max contract. You feel me? If you're in the top 10 in one of these categories, you're gonna, let me move this around so y'all can see it. If you're in the top 10 of one of these categories, then you're probably gonna get a huge contract. But being in the top 10 of all 4 of these categories, you should be a legendary superstar, generational talent, which is what he is. But because of where he's from and what he represents, you get the hate from the media. You get the hate from the other players. Because a lot of the players don't come from where he come from. A lot of them niggas, you know what I'm talking about, they not cut from that cloth. So it's a lot of hate. It's a lot of shade. But just so you know, Kobe co-signed Westbrook and said that Westbrook was that nigga. Michael Jordan co-signed Westbrook and said that Westbrook was that nigga. And he had major battles with some of the best players. When him and Durant was together, they was always a championship team. And the only time Durant has ever been a championship player is with Golden State, who was already a championship team. So you have to look at that fact that even after Durant left, he put OKC on his back. He showed that he's a real franchise player. He took his team to the playoffs, even though he didn't go deep into the playoffs. That's kind of a coaching thing, and it's kind of a team thing. Because once you get to the playoffs, it don't matter how good of a player you are or how much of a superstar you are. That's when the team really matters and the coaching really matters, which is why you have Damian Lillard, no championship. You got all of these players who are great players, superstar players with no championship. So this is their only knock on the brothers, that he ain't got no rings. You know what I'm saying? But you talking about somebody who's a champion. Okay. And let's see if I can get his post game from today. They had another preseason game, and he did speak. Hold on, that's on another page, so let's go to this other page. And yeah, this is the Trap Sports Report. Well, we're gonna be representing the players, and we're gonna be a voice for the players. You know what I'm talking about? The media gonna say what they gonna say for their narratives, but this is where the players gonna be able to speak their truth. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm super excited to be able to put this together. You know what I'm talking about? Because as I stated, basketball is a part of my life. It's a family thing. I'm from the inner city, and I mean football, basketball, that's what we do. And you know, we do both. I'm from that era where we all played football and basketball. You know what I'm saying? We all had trophies. We all was, you know, and some of us chose the streets and some of us stuck with it. You know what I'm saying? And we got some notables from our side of the city who was Pro Bowlers. You know what I'm saying? All-Stars. And so that legacy is with the hood forever. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to knowing the game, this is what we do. You feel me? And hey, yeah, so without further ado, let's try to see if we can get some words from Russ. They didn't win the game, but it's the preseason. Like, who gives a fuck? It's the preseason. You know what I'm saying? But let's hear it.
You could. I have full faith.
I just didn't.
I just didn't. It's kind of like that pass that you guys had at halftime. That didn't
really
go
see.
so well. Well done,
Communication. I was setting the screen.
Not going to say names. Russell Westbrook scored 11 of his 12 points in the first quarter. He's standing by with Mike in the locker room.
Russ, Darvin said he was pretty pleased with both of the first two games and the way that the starting unit played, the way that the second unit played. Obviously, things change a little bit, you know, once we play the young guys late. What have you noticed that's been continuous from training camp as you've now performed in these two games as a team?
Just our habits and what we're trying to emphasize on defending and the way we want to play is important for, you know, to create some rhythm. And I think we've been doing a better job of that last two games.
You and Darvin have both talked about the relationship that you've been forming and just wondered how that's benefited you, if at all, in the first two games as you've gotten into things.
Yeah, just being able to communicate whatever he needs me to do. I go out there and try to do it to my best of my ability. And if I need something from him, I'm able to communicate that as well.
Preseason, I know you guys always want to win, but is there that kind of understanding that the more important things are kind of building blocks, right, and kind of stacking things and getting more into the system?
Yeah, obviously want to win, but you want to take baby steps. It's a long year. We'll take some positives out of the game, and I think there's a lot of positives that we can take from game to game, especially now.
Juan Toscano-Anderson just told you to let us know. Or is that a thing with you guys, or was he referring to anything specific, Russ? Yeah.
No, he just a thing between me and him, but he just wanted me to let y'all know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm from. That's about it.
We know who you are, where you're from.
Well, I mean, glad you know. I'm glad everybody else know. West Side.
I appreciate it, Russ.
Thank you, Russ.
We see Russ and LeBron combining for just under 40 minutes. They combined for 35 points. Russ with a couple more threes. I know you like that corner ball three. Meta, what else did you see from Russ tonight?
I mean, I did like the in rhythm shots. I remember when I used to be on the wing and I would not take the shot because I wasn't comfortable, but B. Shaw would always tell me, you got to take the shot because it's in rhythm. And if you missed, it got a chance for offensive rebounds. And I like the fact that he was shooting in rhythm.
Yeah, the best thing you can do is shoot the ball because the players are expecting that. They're either going to cut to the basket for offensive rebound or get back on defense. If you don't shoot it, it throws the whole mix up.
Do they already look more comfortable this season than you look back to the beginning of last year?
So far, I think so. I think they got a nice rhythm. They're playing well together. I think a lot of that has to do with Austin Reeves. You know, even though Russ is attacking the basket, he still had 4 turnovers tonight. But I like the fact that he's going out and being aggressive and not hesitating because we know for a long time when Russ catches it, he'll hesitate, he'll read the seams, he'll look at Adams' name on there, and then he'll shoot the ball. So, but now he's catching and shooting.
Yeah, a lot of people wondering what work did he do on the three-point touch during the offseason. Not a good time last season for him behind the arc. So far, so good. 2 for 4 tonight. Didn't take any the other night. The key for me from the other night, the preseason opener, he talked to Dan Woike of the LA Times afterwards, and he said, hey, I'm blocking everything out. As we know, he deleted his Instagram account, trying to stay away from the social media. And he told Dan, he said, hey, whatever happens is going to happen. I have a very good support network, a good support group, good family, good faith. So it's kind of it could be an awkward situation, but I think so far, 2 preseason games in, everything's okay.
You know, he brings up a good point. I mean, Rob, LeBron mentioned it as well when he was talking about when he was coming up in from high school to the NBA, and there's no social media, and he could just lock in on his job. I mean, you can get caught up in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that rabbit hole of social media is deep.
It's
and
tough.
I
It
think,
doesn't matter how old you are.
yeah, but here's the thing. You don't have to pick up your smartphone. You don't have to do it. You can still have social media because you have a clothing line. You have all these other things that you can promote on that social media. You don't have to, oh, he said this, and then start scrolling. You don't have to do that. You got to have some type of self-control. And I think a lot of these guys, they're nosy. They want to know what's being said. But why do you care about what some idiot that has no validity in what you're doing about what they're saying? Why would you care? You shouldn't, because the only people you should worry about is the GM, the owner, and the coach. Everybody else, when it comes to basketball, who cares?
Yeah. So do you like this move by him?
I
Dialing
like it.
in?
Yeah. Less distractions.
Okay, but Rob, Meta, if you guys played, you played a little bit in the advent of Twitter and Instagram. Like, what would you guys do if you had a bad game? Wouldn't you be on social media? Wouldn't you, maybe even see what fans had to say about you? Or would you really, truly be able to block it out?
I mean, I did delete my Instagram a couple times also, and then I brought it back. I think I would have been one of those guys that looked and probably did what Russell did. I would probably say, this is enough, and probably just deleted my account.
He also didn't delete his account, though. There's still stuff on his stories. He just scraped.
I had a favorite.
just
You know what I told Vlade Divac, right? You better read a paper or something, right? I didn't read papers at all because I could care less what people said, because I knew as a person, as a player, if I had a good game or a bad game. I don't care what you say, because you know what? As a reporter, if we went on that court and played one-on-one, you couldn't beat me, so I could care less what you had to say. Not you in particular, Brez, but
then some people use it as fuel, don't they? You can also use it as a motivator?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, right.
But that goes back to, why do I care what an idiot has to say about me when he knows no basketball?
Well,
Brez,
now
you're
wait
not
a
an
second.
idiot.
This can't be worked out. Meta and I once had a very good talk on the Target Center Timberwolves logo. He wasn't real thrilled with something I wrote about him. So we talked before the game, the next game the Lakers played. I don't know if you knew this, but I told a couple assistant coaches, I think Meta's a little unhappy with me. Can you guys just make sure I don't get punched in the ear? we had a really good chat right on the T-Wolves logo. Must have been like, I think it was about 10 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
So sometimes reporters...
Were you scared, Brez?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm scared right now. Just thinking about it. Well, look at Meta, look at me.
As a reporter, when you knew that a guy wasn't happy,
He don't even look right with a suit on.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's three things that if I go to a school and talk to journalism classes, there's three things that I could do that would be wrong. One would be to engage Meta and say, well, why are you upset? You're making a ton of money. What's wrong with you? The other thing would be if I kind of shrunk and said, Meta, I'm so sorry, my fault. The best thing to do is to just do what we did. We talked it out. He said, how come you wrote this? And I said, I wrote it because of this. I don't even remember all the details, but it was just a good talk between two guys, two grown men. We shook hands, we cried, we hugged right on the logo. I cried, that's for sure. I don't know about Meta.
We should have just went on Triller and just did a little match.
But
I know what happened.
And now you're working together.
Yeah.
That's right.
I had this happen to me, and when I was in Houston, a reporter said something I said as a joke to some people, and he reported it. And what I did was, when he would come up and I'd be talking, I'd just stop talking. After a while, people were like, you got to go because we want to hear what he has to say.